Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 578 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, I'll tell you what, man. I am in the mood to play like retro games, dude. I don't know, man. It's like for the past like month or so, I've been like getting back into like the whole thing with the Dreamcast stuff. So yeah, buying the Dreamcast is one thing, and that was like 2 weeks ago. This past week, I did another purchase in regards to like Dreamcast related stuff. Uh, I acquired both Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Nice.
And the thing about those games is like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 complete in box is like over $80.
Jeez.
And like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that complete in box can sometimes reach over 150. But I didn't spend that in regards to getting both of them now. Now,
It's good.
I did end up spending a little bit over $100 for both, but I did go through and did stuff on eBay that other people do almost all the time. And that's a stealth bid at the last second. So basically, that's what happened. It's like I won an auction for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I I did like the last second bid with like about 5 seconds left or so, and I was the head bidder and stuff, and I won that.
Yeah.
Then the thing is, there was another auction stuff that I've been looking at as well. Like both of these auctions I was looking at, right? So it's like I knew like hours beforehand, like, okay, if I get off later work this day and stuff, I'm gonna have a better chance to go for it and like see if they're still available. So I realized these auctions were like a few minutes apart. So I'm like, okay, if I win one, then I can actually go forth and go to see the other one if I can get that. And yeah, that's what ended up happening. It's from the
Nice.
same. I bought both of these games from the same dude that's selling it on eBay, just literally a couple minutes apart. And yeah, it's coming all the way from Kentucky.
Hmm.
As my Dreamcast came out from like Georgia, so I'm pretty much getting games from the East Coast and try to get all
Yeah.
the way back here in the West. But dude, it's awesome to finally have these two, and they're pretty much their almost arcade perfect sort of like forms and stuff. Because that's the thing about the Dreamcast; it was known for a lot of their arcade perfect, like almost arcade perfect sort of like ports onto the system itself. And I do have some history of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because this is the game that kind of led me to the decision from my father and stuff when I was like a teenager. I'm like, okay, I'm going to the store. I see a PlayStation, I see a Dreamcast and stuff like that. Might say, oh, you can only get one of the two here, and so I end up going with the PlayStation with SmackDown 2 Know Your Role over Dreamcast and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And so that decision in of itself kind of led me to like, okay, well, if ever I get this system and this, I need to get this game again, or at least try to get this game. And yeah, I'm happy to say that has been acquired, but this still hasn't deterred me from wanting to play Super Mario Wonder. That's going to be later on next week. But other than that, man, it's just been like a regular like, kind of work week and stuff. Lots of huge gaming news obviously happened throughout the week, man. But Tyler, how have you been?
Oh man, I'm doing terrible.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain right now. It's not fun. Uh, I got an infection on the back of my neck. Not sure how. Uh, and now I have a fucking giant fucking uh, bump on the back of my fucking neck that
Mm.
hurts nonstop for the last
Ooh.
week now. So it's not fun. On very little sleep. It hurts to move, hurts to walk, hurts to do this podcast right now.
Ooh.
It's just everything hurts right now. I went to the doctor on Wednesday, and yeah, that was very expensive. And on some antibiotics. Hopefully those fucking things kick in soon because about to go goddamn crazy here. Uh, but
Oof.
doctor said that while I'm on them, I can't drink beer, so I'm drinking water this week. So this is the sober nerds this week. Um, so yeah, not other than that, doing all right. It'd just be nice if uh, I could like move my head without wanting to cry. But other than that, it's been great. Gables doing fantastic. It's been a great week. Um, Part of the reason it's been a great week, Gables, because we are 1 week closer to Extra Life. That's right, Extra Life
Yes.
is something that we do every year. Gables and I do. I think this is my 13th. This is Gables' 12th year, where we raise
Yeah.
money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals.
Right.
You could pick the hospitals you want anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. What we do is we play games. It's usually the first Saturday of every November, but you can do it whenever you want. You don't have to do it then. You can break it up over days or whatever. But Gables and I always do it on that day, and we play games for 24 straight hours, and
Yeah.
people donate to you for doing that. If you're interested in doing that yourself, check out extra-life.org. It's really really great thing that's been going on. I think they've passed over almost we're getting close to $100 million at this point
Dang.
for them. So yeah, this is year 15. I did just get my Extra Life shirt in because I reached $200.
Yeah.
So you get some cool little things when you hit like certain milestones. I think 75, you got a sticker. Fit 200, you get the shirt. 500, you get a silver medal. I got three of those, and then 1,000,
Hmm.
you get a gold medal. I got two of those. So, um, yeah. So if you guys are interested in doing stuff like that, please check them out. If there's somebody you know that might be interested in doing something like that, let them know. Just tell your friends, share it out with everybody. Like I said, it's November 4th. You don't have to do it on that day. You don't even have to do the whole 24 hours. You've got things going on, or you just can't do it. Don't push yourself too hard. Especially if you got to work on Monday. Um, don't do that. It's hard. But if you can get Monday off, like that's what Gables and I are doing. We got Monday off,
Yep.
so you're gonna we're gonna use that day to like a recovery day because Sunday's a wasted day. Sunday's gone.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, it is.
yeah. So Gables like got a good trick though for people that are interested. Like he gets up at like what like usually around between like midnight and 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
And
that's what ended up happening. That's what ends up has been happening over the past few years, with the exception of last year when I had a crazy ass windstorm that delayed me up until like about 8 a.m. that initial morning. But the initial plan, while Tyler is dying right there in the corner.
no, it's sucks. I'm sorry
Oh,
for coughing in the microphone. It hurts so bad. You know
oh,
what?
dude.
You know what really sucks is when you choke on your water, and the only thing to make the water not or the stop choking on the water is by drinking more water.
Oh,
It's the worst. I apologize, Gables. Continue on. I'm gonna mute my mic.
okay, okay. But like what I was saying though, when it comes to like what I do with Extra Life, I start off with waking up like around midnight, and then I start doing my things that way. Like for example, I work the day and I work all the way and stuff like that. Then like a few hours later, I go to bed. Then get a good solid like maybe 4 or 5 hours and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like I wake up around midnight and I start gaming from midnight from that night to midnight the next morning. And I find it to be probably one of the best things to possibly do because your body and its like dynamics and stuff like that, you're more akin to like do like morning to night as opposed to like say morning to night to morning, because your body's going to feel incredibly tired doing it that way. Where I kind of felt like, okay, if I go midnight to midnight, I'm going to feel a little bit better and not so much like out of my mind like the years that we've spent, Tyler, where it's like we're literally like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and like we're just almost like dead because of the whole, oh
Yeah,
god,
and we
because
still
of the
got like
like
6
things.
hours to go.
Oh, absolutely. Got the whole 6 hours ago and stuff like that. It's like the 2 or 3. It's like the dead zone in terms of like our interaction stuff, or we're just drained, and we just
Mm-hmm.
feel like we need like something like almost like a pick me up in that
Yeah,
regards.
it's like nothing you're playing is hitting either, so it just makes it even worse.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the thing also that for people who do want to participate in stuff, if you could talk, if you like can go through and play with a group of friends or some, or have groups of friends or some will actively like get into your chat and stuff like that while you're playing games and stuff and just talk with you and stuff and try to keep you on point and stuff. That's for the best. Absolutely. Because I know there have been times when I've played stuff and like either Tyler comes in, joins my chat, starts talking, or that one of our friends, Nerves, comes inside, wants to like do that, or our friend Justin or something like that, where it's like he comes in, does this and that. But having that sort of a support system while you're doing like a charity thing like this, it's definitely important to keep you sane.
Yeah, yeah. We call that like you get the person that's not participating, but they just come to play games with you. We call that the ringer,
Yep.
especially like in those late night stretches when you're getting, it's getting middle of the night, getting late. It's like I'm usually in bed by now, and if you get somebody that just jumps in and either just bullshits with you or play some games with you, yeah,
Mm.
they're coming in, fairly fresh. Sometimes you get Wes coming in super drunk in the middle of the night. Uh, so
Yeah,
um,
that too.
Yeah, so if you can get people like that, just like, hey, can you just, if you're free that night, come in, jump in, play some games with me. It's like break up the monotony.
Yes.
Yes, of things. That would be great. Yeah. So, or if you could just get other friends to participate with you too, that helps. Like Gables and I will just sit in a party chat and we'll play games and just kind of like chit chat with each other throughout the night and throughout the day to like kind of keep tabs on everybody, make sure we're staying awake, and
Yep.
just have somebody you can at least have a conversation with throughout the day. Because yeah, it can be pretty tough if you're sitting there by yourself, and
Oh, absolutely.
especially like in the late night part when it's you know super late and you're extremely tired and you don't even want to play video games anymore, but you only got a few hours to go. So yeah, big recommend on all that. But like I said, extra-life.org. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see they're like down here at the bottom. There's the website down there, extra-life.org and all that. They are on like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. There's a Discord channel. They're on Twitch. So many ways to follow them and keep up with the journey and everything like that. And really great thing that they do and that we could do and play some games while we're doing it. So it's a
Yes.
win-win for everybody. Help the big beautiful kids out there and play some games. So it's pretty cool. But Gables, let's move on and get into some of the big news this week. Not like really three pretty major news stories this week. Starting off here, Gables. This is kind of like the new one, but it's been like heavily rumored for a while now.
Yeah.
Um, the PS5 Slim. They're not officially calling it the PS5 Slim, but it's a smaller version. Is coming in November. Really enough we didn't get a date for it. I just said November. And some of the details we have here is I believe they said it's like 14% smaller than the PS5. I think it's like someone did the math. It's like an inch and a half shorter, and I can't remember what it is like girth wise. It's smaller that way too, obviously. But they did reveal that there's gonna be a digital and a disc version. The disc version is 500 as it's always been, but the
Mm-hmm.
digital edition will cost 450. Some different details about the, the launch digital and the new digital is that the original was $400 and it had 825 gigabytes of storage in there, which is weird. It has less, but the new one will have 1,000, so it's 175 more gigabytes. But it is kind of a backdoor price increase. Something that we've been seeing for a while, unfortunately, is usually this time, in this generation, we're starting to see prices go down on things. Now we're seeing the last like few years, the prices go up on things. Um, some more things that's going on here is that the disk drive. So this is a thing that Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming he kind of leaked earlier this year that it was put. Not only was it coming out later this year, but that there would be a disk drive. In his report, he said that the disk drive would plug in to it through like a USB-C cable. And it'd be like
Okay.
so it would be a separate. It would be like it plug into it, but it wouldn't be like attached to like it would basically just be like a separate thing that sticks out of your PS5, which just sounded hideous from the beginning. I'm like, why would they do this? Um, Actually, not the case. With the Slim, the kind of cool thing is you can actually take the side panels off super easily. You no longer have to use any tools or anything like that. A big part of that is they're saying that so if you want to get bigger storage for it, and if you buy the digital edition, you can easily just take the side panel off, stick the new disk drive into it, and pops right in, and you have a disc version. The downside is though, if you do buy the digital and decide later you want to have a disc drive, it is $80, so it's an extra 30. It's $530 for that instead of the base 500. And then another crazy thing here is that the even though like when they originally revealed it, it was the PS5 was standing up. It only comes with like this little tiny like metal piece that makes the vertical stand or the horizontal stand, and you have to buy the vertical stand separately, and that is $30. So yeah, how you feeling this one, Gables?
All right, I'll start off with something positive. For the PS5 reveal here for like the remodeled revision of this system, I like the ease of access in terms of switching out the disk drive. I
Yeah,
mean, that's something I do like with that. How it looks, how it is almost looks like it's seamlessly. You can just slide off a panel, go through and just replace a disk drive in case something goes wrong, or in the off chance you decide to get the digital version and decide, oh, I want something more here. I want to pay another $80 or something like that, and I try to do this. It's like you have the option to do that as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's like the system itself is mostly just reduced in terms of the plot, in terms of like the overall bulk and stuff of the original design. I mean, I'm not sure what else they have gone through and like say changed in regards to the
They've
system itself.
they've like shaved off plastic pieces here and there,
Uh,
which is not unusual. That's kind of what happens. Like they kind of go overboard with the launch models, and this is like across the board, everybody. Then they make updates throughout, like or like the Switch, like a Switch a year later had like a better battery life, stuff like that. So we do see like minor improvements from the launch ones on, even if like it doesn't, we don't notice it as like or like this, like the Xbox and the PS5 and stuff, like they've had less plastic on them, so they've already like made them a little bit smaller. This one's just kind of a drastic change. So
yeah, there's definitely a drastic change in terms of the look of it, also in terms of going through and cleaning stuff, replacing parts. I mean, this is quite honestly the easiest I've ever seen like a console be really consumer friendly in terms of like making sure you can clean it decently or you can remove the parts easily and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
that I like of it itself, but I know the look of it. I don't like the look of it for
Gables,
that.
the disc drive PS5. When you have like a zip up hoodie on and you sit down, it poofs up on you.
Yeah,
That's what the disc drive PS5 looks like.
yeah, I know
It
that.
just looks like it has a hoodie on and you sat down and like it poofed up and now it's like sticking up and you look like you're pregnant.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't really like too much of the original PS5 design either.
I didn't
But at
mind
the
it.
same, but at the same point, it's like no matter I just feel like no matter what they would have designed it for, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much because with that stripe, yeah, going on to that system and stuff with the whole stuff,
Yeah,
just kind of makes it look sort of weird.
yeah. I mean,
But
we did see the leaked screenshot like a few months ago, but it was like, is this
yeah,
real? This could be easily faked and turn out to be real. I mean, part of that little slit there is so you can like pop it on and off. So I get that. Yeah, I don't know how much I like it either. It'd be kind of cool though if like you can like I imagine like people will do this, but like you can like put something in there so like you can make it light up. Like
yeah,
that'd be cool.
they
Like a
they
lit up.
probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure like third like Etsy, and you could probably find people on Etsy that will get that. You can buy that shit through, but I don't know.
I know when it comes to the whole controversy, oh hey, it's like this thing's gonna be if you buy the digital version, it's like, oh, it's gonna be $80 and stuff, you're gonna be overpaying, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Well, quite honestly, now we're getting to the point and stuff to where there will be some people that will want to buy the physical PS5 games, but I think it's kind of smart by Sony to go forth and charge up 450 on this one because you get like more storage than initially what the original PS5 digital was.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it's like they're giving you the option to where if you choose to do so, you can do it. But I got a feeling that the most of the people are going to buy that system and stuff like that are not even going to bother with physical stuff anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's really, I can understand people's gripes about it. I mean, it's stupid too. You're overpaying if you do it that route as opposed to just paying the 500 for an actual disc version of that same PS5. But I think it's really cool though, where it's like it's a little bit more expensive than say like with Xbox and what they do with their Series S.
Yeah.
But
This
at the
has
same,
this has the same amount of power though, and the same amount of
yeah,
storage
yeah,
as the
exactly,
base. So that that's compared to the, I think like the S is like what, 512 gigabytes. So
yeah.
that makes the difference there.
But overall and stuff, am I interested in like this type of PS5? Well,
No.
no.
Huh.
Myself and like all people I've already established with having PS5s and stuff are perfectly content with what they have. But I'll tell you what, if I was somebody that waited this long in terms of getting into this generation with PS5 or the Xbox Series systems or something like that, yeah, this would be the type of console I would end up getting because not only is it smaller than what the bulk PS5 has, but it's going to be incredibly easy for you to go forth and find upgrade storage for it with the set with like those M2 drives and stuff like that, and like the whole aspects of changing out certain custom parts and stuff. And quite honestly, the way this thing looks and stuff, you probably can go forth and easily do like custom jobs on this thing too if you choose to. But yeah, man, I think this is going to be a good thing for new like consumers going in though, but for people who already have PS5s, I mean, this is just like that whole like lull period before Sony tries to eventually go with like another like PS like another pro
Yeah,
model of the
yeah,
system, which I really do think that it's probably going to be sooner rather than later with that.
yeah. I mean, like it's been rumored for a while that they're planning on releasing that next year. Um, and I mean, I don't know. Like I'm kind of with you. Like it does suck that like we have the kind of the backdoor price increase for the digital edition. Yeah, like I do like the option of like being able to update later with the um, disk drive. That's like something that kind of sucked. Like I bought the Series S and I was really happy with it, and then it's like you start seeing like the differences, like the kind of the power. Like I'm not a huge graphics snob, but it's like god damn. Like look at some of these games that coming out soon. It's like man, and like you start seeing like the difference of how they're gonna run on the S and the X. It's like upgraded that, and it's like man, if I could have just like if say the S was like in parity with like the power of the X, but just was the digital edition, and
Yep.
I could have just paid $80 to $100 for a disk drive instead, and just instead of paying another $500 for an X,
Yeah.
that would have been awesome. Like it's great having those options.
Well, yeah.
Consumers love having options, and yeah, if like I don't need a disk drive, and you buy that one, it's like actually yeah, I kind of want that, and I mean, but this is kind of I don't like taking out the vertical stands. Like that thing, how much does that thing cost you? Like fucking dollar maybe? I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess
I
like
I
they're
hate that vertical stand, dude.
yeah. I mean, my issue is just taking it out like in general, like making you pay an extra like just a way to like get a few more dollars out of their consumers and shit like that. That shit sucks, but I mean that's something that's been going on for a while. Like when the new 3DS came out, they stopped putting the charging cable in with them. Like we see that with
Yeah.
iPhones, they give you less and less stuff, and they're making them smaller, but they're charging more. Now they don't even have a headphone jack. They don't come with the charging cable, and we see that across the board, like where they're trying to squeeze as much money out of these things as they possibly can and get you to pay extra. Fuck, when the Switch doesn't even come with a real, gaming controller. Yet it comes with the Joy Cons, which are technically controllers, I
Yep.
know, but like no one enjoys playing the Joy-Con controllers on your TV. Like when you're playing the game on
No.
the TV, it's awful. Nobody likes the little dog thing that you stick them on. And
Exactly. Why play that when you have the Pro controller?
yeah, but you have to pay an extra $75 for that separately. So it's like this is
True.
something that's been going on for a long time, and I'm not defending it whatsoever. I'm not saying it's okay. Like it sucks, it's bullshit. Um, but this is like their way of getting a little bit more out of they gotta get every penny they can out of consumers, and this is their way of doing it. I do think that like that PS5 Pro, if it does come out next year, I'll bet money Gables that thing comes out next year.
Hmm.
It's $550 to $600, and it does include a disk drive. You got to buy the disk drive separately
Okay, for which now?
for the Pro. If the Pro comes out next year, I
Oh,
think
absolutely. If
I
this
think
thing
that
comes
thing,
out,
yeah,
Tyler, I think you're going to be on the money with that, dude. Because if Sony does go through the PS5 Pro unveil, like say by holiday next year, to try to contend with Nintendo's next system during that next year or something like that, then it's going to be around that around that 550 $600 range.
yeah,
Even though that sounds kind of crazy from the grand scheme of things, but if they go through and have things bulked up to the point to where it is more appealing. I mean, we're not even at the point we don't even know what the fuck a freaking PS5 Pro is going to be.
yeah.
Like what
What's
it's
the
gonna
selling
look
point
like.
of this
What's the
thing?
selling point of this thing?
Yeah,
You can't just
Gables.
tout it with just fucking graphics, dude. I mean,
Well, I mean, I think that's the big thing they're gonna push because that's what most consumers are gonna like. Oh, crap, it's gonna look better. My games are gonna look better. Fuck yeah. Problem is like a lot of people like don't have. Most people, I think, consumers don't have the like TVs you need to like actually like
no.
really show off some things. Like I don't have I have a 3-year-old TV that was brand new. It was a new version of that TV 3 years ago, and it doesn't even do like doesn't have the VRR, doesn't have it can't do 120 frames per second, stuff like that. Um, and so I imagine a lot of consumers don't have that or don't have an OLED. So I've always said like going to the Pro and the Xbox One X, last generation, it's like that was like 4K became affordable,
Yep.
and like we know, okay, cool, like we're pushing 4K and HDR. That's the two big selling points of that thing, and it's like to me that was worth it. Like the HDR alone was like, oh my god, like this is gorgeous. Um, what's the selling point of the PS5 Pro? Like what's the like they're gonna put 8K on the box again? Cool, like
They
nobody has
could do
8K.
that. I mean, they could do 8K. They could
I mean,
try to.
it's on the box right now, like on the base
Yeah.
PS5, but it's like very few people can like those TVs are extremely expensive and very few things actually use it. So, um, I don't know. Like the only thing I can think that maybe like because the PS4 Pro they just added like an extra stack. They made it like a double
Uh-huh.
cheeseburger instead of like a single cheeseburger. I hope what they do instead is they added a second disk drive on the other side. That'd be cool. So now it's like it sticks out. Now they have disk drives on both sides. That'd be cool, I think.
Well,
Even though
you know,
I go ahead.
dude, you want to know what would be really kind of cool and stuff like that, which probably Sony's not going to do because Jim Ryan is gone now and stuff like that. It's like, what if they did like that PS4 Pro or something like that, to where not only did they do the basic things that we expected to do and stuff like that, but they have something to where they make like backwards compatibility or something like that with like the bunch of their older titles more like emulated, like upscaled better in
No,
terms of like the
no, they won't
quality
do
and
that.
scale.
That
I
would
know,
like
right?
destroy the whole point of premium. Which there's very little point for premium PS Plus premium at this already, and it's like
It doesn't
either
necessarily have to be like with like your physical discs at your own. I'm talking about like the download stuff, even if it includes like the whole.
no, they don't want to do that because they want you to get premium. So and they just they just jack the price of that up to $160. So it's like,
I
oh
know,
no,
right?
here, pay for this. We have cloud streaming now. Woohoo. So I don't know. Otherwise, it's like yeah, it's like annoying. Like it's definitely like a lot of annoying business calls they're doing here, and we know why they're doing. Like they're selling a console with less shit in it. It's smaller, so it's gonna be cheaper for them to manufacture. Then
Mhm.
you have to buy more shit separately to actually get like what a base PS5 gives you now. So, but I mean that's just unfortunately. I don't know. It's hard to get like I'm not happy about it. Like it's annoying, but like I don't know. It's like this is just the world we live in now. So, um, moving on, Gables. This one luckily did not cost any of us a dime, but did cost us 22 months of our lives. That's right. Activision is finally owned by Microsoft after Gables 22 goddamn months. It's finally over.
Oh,
I mean,
almost 2 years, dude.
yeah. I mean, it's not over. Like we're still gonna like talk about it here and there, but we can start talking about the good shit, the shit like the exciting parts of like there was that initial excitement of like, oh my god, think about like what if Rare can work on I don't know Crash Bandicoot or Toys for Bob can work on fucking Banjo Kazooie, like all the pie in the sky ideas and stuff like that. And now they own them. Now we can actually start talking about that. We might start seeing some games come to Game Pass here in the future. They did say though, Activision did say that they wouldn't start coming until next year, which
Okay.
they specifically mentioned Diablo 4 and Modern Warfare 3. Um, I forgot this initially, but I had to be reminded of this that Modern Warfare 3 obviously PlayStation has the advertisement rights to it, so they can't put a day and date on uh, on Game Pass, I believe, until either in 2025 or 2026. I can't remember which one it is, but at the earliest 2025 is when like Call of Duty can come to Game Pass day one. I don't know if like
Hmm.
there's any like details stopping it eventually coming, like if like Modern Warfare 3 say in 6 months or in a year when the new Call of Duty comes out next year, then can they put it on, or they have to wait until then? Doesn't sound like that's the case for previous ones, at least. Like like I wouldn't, I wouldn't be shocked if like in January or something they just start dumping out a bunch of like older games. Kind of something we saw when they bought Bethesda. Like
Yeah.
they bought Bethesda and then like pretty much immediately put up a bunch of like their older titles. Like they put up like Evil Within 1 and Dishonored and games like that, and like Skyrim I think was on there, like Fallout 3 and stuff, and then like the more recent things like Doom Eternal and shit like that was like came out like a few months later, like the ones that were more recent. So I can I can see that. I won't be shocked in like if that happens. And then the big thing here, Bobby Kotick said that he is planning on leaving. He's going to stay with the company until the end of 2023. So not sure if that means he's gone January 1st, but at the very least he'll be gone shortly after. So
It
fuck that
definitely
dude.
kind of it definitely does imply that he's leaving not too long after like the first of the year starts, I mean, him riding his golden parachute all the way out of the video
Yeah,
game industry.
getting nearly half a billion with a B
Hmm.
dollars on the way out. So I don't know.
Now, I don't it's like
Uh,
I don't care if like he is riding a parachute or he's getting the fucking all this money and stuff like that. He's not going to be fucking up Activision
yeah,
Blizzard
Gables, imagine being
coming
so
next
bad at
year.
your job that they pay you a half a billion dollars to go away. Or like the fact that like Microsoft paid $69 billion, nice, to then buy your company, and then to tell you to leave, and then also give you a $500 million to go away. What
Dude,
does
I cannot imagine that at all.
yeah, like Gables, if we get fired from our jobs tomorrow, we're lucky to draw unemployment. Like
Yeah,
this guy
yeah.
fucks like royally fucks up a multi-billion-dollar company, and he's getting. I mean, he like the guy's already like probably got hundreds of millions of dollars. Um,
The dude doesn't
so
have to worry about anything else about the rest of his fucking
yeah,
life.
yeah, like this guy probably already has everything he needs, and he's just gonna get another $500 million to go away. So
Yeah.
must be nice. Gables, where do we fuck up in life? What are we doing? What man, like man, give me like it's like the dude at Unity, the CEO there, John Riccatello or whatever. Like
Oh,
he
oh,
left,
dude.
and he's getting like $150 million bonus for leaving. It's like fuck me,
Can,
man. What?
can I just say, up until this week, I had no idea that fucking the old CEO of EA and
Yeah,
stuff, Riccatello, was actually working in the
yeah.
gaming
No, me
industry
neither.
still, and as the freaking CEO of the fucking Unity system.
Yeah, yeah. The guy's really good. Well, the problem is he's really good at fucking over consumers but making a lot of money for his board, which you know
Yep.
CEOs work for the board. So he did his job, made them all a bunch of money, and then he's like, all right, see you. So goddamn, what the fuck? What are we doing with our lives, man? I want to just like I'm gonna work my way up to be like a big wig at a company and just royally fuck up on purpose, just so they can like as soon as I sign like a big contract, I'm gonna like fuck up so bad, and I'm gonna get like, hey, just like you have to give me like $500 million, like yeah, here's like 2 million. Just please don't come back to work tomorrow. Sold. I'm out.
Well, what I can say though, I mean, I'm very happy that this deal finally went through, and also I'm very happy that the thought that Bobby Kotick, after 33 years, is finally going to be leaving the freaking gaming industry sooner rather than later.
Fuck that guy.
But what I'm more interested in now is seeing the plans between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard King in regards to this whole plans and forefronts. I mean, we already know that there's not going to be any substantial games added to Game Pass really until like about 2024 and stuff.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
Obviously, Call of Duty is like a different beast in and of itself, but also the plans like on given franchises, like what's going to go on to the improvement of say like Diablo 4, what's going to go on with say the improvements of like World of Warcraft, what's going to be going on to like the improvements of like many other Activision Blizzard King like games that were worked on, yeah, Overwatch included and stuff, and see how this is going to be improved upon now that Microsoft owns it. Like, is it going to be? It's like that. It's a literal like $1 billion question because the successes of any one of
$69 billion
those.
question.
Well, yeah, it's a $69 billion question and stuff.
Nice.
You bought this company, and you bought these assets and stuff, these properties in and of itself along with it. Now their task is to try to avoid what happened with say like with Bethesda when they acquired them with Redfall, that type of situation. They want to avoid at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely do got their work set out for them because Overwatch 2 right now is it's kind of going the way of like a DOA, Dead or Alive sort of like thing rather quickly. And so getting a good quick rebound with that, I would think would be a good priority probably for them. But
Yeah.
also with World of Warcraft, it's like that has so much mess in terms of not just multiple different things for new users to come on or to try to satisfy long term like users for that game in and of itself that's another can of worms. And
Yeah.
like I was stating before, dude, it's like Diablo 4. That game launched, it got some great reviews, and you try to go back and see like what people are saying about it now and stuff. They royally fucked up in terms of
Yeah.
their seasons.
People are pretty upset about the content drop since then.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and that's because of the way Activision Blizzard King implemented a lot of their various like artifacts and stuff like that for these characters, and it just screwed up the entire kind of flow of things on top of other factors as well, like say things in terms of mobs for enemies and like things with that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know too much about the inner details because I didn't even play that game
Hmm.
because obviously can't really blame me because there's so much of a barrage of other types of games that we've had a chance to
Yeah.
experience this
Yeah.
year.
Plus, came out the same
But
week as Street Fighter 6, so you're a little busy.
ex- yeah, exactly. Street Fighter 6 took priority.
Yeah. I was still playing
Any,
Zelda, so
but at that same point, the question lies upon Microsoft's doorstep here. The $69 billion question: what are you gonna do with these properties that will not only get them back on the right track, but it's gonna make it awfully lucrative for everybody going around here?
Yeah.
So that's the initial question I have in mind that we'll most likely see, not immediate, but let's see what happens over the next year.
Yeah. I mean, what's gonna suck is it's like we're not gonna see like major dividends like for us right away.
No.
Because I mean, obviously we talk about all the time, games take way longer than ever to make, and then so many of the studios at Activision, the big issue with like besides the sexual misconduct stuff going on that was going on there, that was really bad.
Yes.
But like just like in the business side of things, the making the games part, that was the whole reason they sold was because they got rid of every other developer and made them go work on Blizzard games or made them go work on fucking Call of Duty. So
Yeah.
all of these teams are pretty much probably gone at this point, or like people have left, or they're like
Oh
they're
yeah.
just now they're no longer like we're Toys for Bob, but we're working on this. Like now they're just part of let's say Raven or Software or whoever. Um, so it is exciting to see like like they have all these studios, all these companies, all these developers there. So it's like a matter of like what how quickly can they like spin off like some of these teams to like go make other things. I'm a little upset, Gables. It's been 48 hours and we still haven't heard about Tony Hawk remake with 3 and 4. Like what the fuck are we doing with that? Just announce that right now.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Bobby Kotick oddly was mentioning Guitar Hero might come back. Fuck off. Nobody wants that.
No.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like yeah, like the problem is like they've been handed a fucking mess. They gotta first off untangle the mess, figure out like it's just a bunch of cords in a box that are all completely they've been sitting in there for years. They're all tangled up. Before they can even figure out where the cords go to, they gotta untangle all the cords before they even start getting anywhere with this thing. So I imagine it's gonna probably take a long time to get that figured out. I'm sure like obviously before they bought this thing they had a general idea, and in the 22 months since they announced they were purchasing it, they probably figured a lot of things out. I doubt in business like you're not technically supposed to make any plans or talk to anybody about anything. I'm
Right.
probably I'm gonna guarantee I'd put down every goddamn dime I have that shit was really going on behind the scenes and just whenever was talked about. Because of course it does. That's just how business works. A lot of shady shit happens. Um,
Yes.
so I'm sure like they've already got the ball rolling on some things and
Oh
they already
yeah.
got some plans in place. But yeah, we'll see a good boost for Game Pass games here. I imagine in the next few months, and that's awesome. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just
I
looking
look
forward to
forward to that.
yeah, Black Ops coming to fucking Game Pass would be awesome. Like, cause you go on like the Xbox store and shit. Like you go look, like Black Ops is still like $50 on on the Xbox Live Store. So,
Yeah, and for good reason.
um, yeah, I definitely don't want that. Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic game. Like I'm just ready to go and jump in some maps again and just check that out. So, um, yeah, I'm just curious what's gonna be like. And part of the problem is too is I keep like I jokingly said about the Tony Hawk remake thing. Like, yeah, now it's set now, but part of the problem too with Xbox is kind of the big thing we've been nailing them for is they just keep announcing games and then they take years to come out or we still
Yeah.
haven't seen them yet years later. So it's like you don't want to like immediately like I'm sure they're gonna announce a couple games that are like ways away, but it's like you don't want to like immediately like announce like 5 fucking games coming out like that you're still like 3-4 years away from. So
You
it's
focus
about
upon the it's like you have to kind of focus upon like the games and stuff you got going currently and stuff most frequently first, and especially what's going to be coming out then like the next year and stuff. But yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited. I'm not a big fan of consolidation and stuff like that, but part of me is just very happy this is over. Because it's just been annoying to like the online discourse. Every fucking podcast was talking about it, and it's we've just been spinning our wheels for 2 years now, and now we could just get to the good part. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So, but yeah, pretty exciting day on Friday for that. And I'm excited for all the employees there. Hopefully, um, things get better for them there as well.
Absolutely.
Most importantly, so unfortunately though, we will be seeing when these massive mergers happen, there will be gigantic layoffs because of well, they have a lot of people that already do those same jobs for Xbox and Microsoft, and um, we're gonna be a lot of redundancies there. So unfortunately, I'm sure there's gonna be some mass layoffs in the next couple of weeks, which will suck. It's already been a pretty shitty year
Yeah.
for people in the gaming business that work in games. So but I don't know. Sure, a lot of people are probably waiting to get their severance and shit. So maybe they're happy about it. Who knows? Next up though, Gables.
Yes.
Sorry, one second. I hit the wrong goddamn button on the show notes. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Anyways, um, speaking of giant mergers, uh, Disney. There's been some push for Bob Iger to buy EA. Um, like it came out and some stories here that I don't know where it was in. Like it was probably some sort of meeting that some executives at Disney were wanting to get into the gaming business, and they mentioned EA as a potential buyer. They're like one like the is there how many big like independent, and I use that loosely, like non console making uh, game developers are out there, publishers are out there in America. Is there how many left are there at this point? Like
Well,
Ubisoft is European, but they do have American based studios.
that's true. That's a tough one, Tyler,
Is
because
it EA? Is EA like the only one?
EA is like the only one that's like big to the extent to where they would be considered. I think right now they're pretty much considered the biggest that's not been acquired by like a big major company.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, I don't know. So like I paid a little bit of attention over the last year or so of like what's been going on with Disney. Like Bob Iger was like the CEO there for several years. I can't remember. I think it was
Yeah.
like multiple decades, I believe. And basically right before COVID hit, he's like, "Yeah, I'm retired." And like he dipped. Perfect timing. Saw that coming, and threw a new guy in place that like ran parks and
Yeah,
obviously,
Bob Chapek.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Thank you. And he was like the guy he was like grooming to take over for him. And I mean, obviously COVID hit. That fucked up a lot of things. And then coming back from like COVID and everything like that, like they've been in kind of a rough space, but like he was kind of handed here's Disney Plus that we're investing billions of dollars in. That's going to lose a lot of money. Figure that out. Hey, COVID's happening. No one can go to the theme parks. Also, all of our major movies can't go to the theaters, or they're going to go to theaters and not make nearly as much money as we were expecting. So good luck, pal. Also, ESPN is like that's a thing that's obviously been struggling for a long time now. So problem with that company is it's kind of so massive that um, they need like a lot of talk from
Hmm.
people. Like I understand, like I've been saying, like they need to like get rid of some shit. Like they spent a bunch of money on Fox for content, and like you probably I can't remember how much they spent, but it was like multiple tens of billions of dollars for the
Yeah.
Fox IPs and 20th Century Fox and all that. It's like for the content for Disney Plus, it's like well now we see kind of the streaming bubble is kind of not bursting, but it's no longer just try to get as many people into your service as possible. Now it's like we want to make money. We see like Peacock is losing like $3 billion this year, I think, on
Hmm.
their service because they went like overspent on a bunch of shit just to try to get content. Netflix like
Oh
still
yeah.
making money, but like for the first time ever they actually like lost users, but like now it's going back up. So it's kind of like we're seeing that like people are kind of maxed out on services,
Yes, they
and
are.
um, it's like they're getting more and more expensive. Like Disney Plus just like doubled in price year over year. Used to be if you want to buy a year it was $80. Now it's $140. So
Uh,
yeah, so fuck off with that.
Agreed.
Yeah, but like now the bundle for like if you want the Hulu, Disney, and ESPN Plus bundles, they're like $20 a month. Um, yeah, like they also they own Hulu, but now like Fox own like I think like a third of Hulu, but they agreed to buy out the rest of it, and they had to buy it out before I believe the end of this quarter. I think so. They have to give Fox even more money for this thing that's not making any money. Uh, so it's a giant clusterfuck going on there, and now
Yes,
it's
it
like,
is.
hey, buy EA. Let's get the EA. Like EA obviously is very successful financially. Like obviously like Madden and FIFA just make up the money. Like they can make a lot of bad decisions, but they still have Madden and FIFA bringing in like around $1 billion a year
With
each
microtransactions.
with microtransact with the Ultimate Team stuff like that. Like they sell obviously like Madden and FIFA are like two of the highest selling games of the year. On top of that, but yeah, then the big thing is like the microtransactions and like stuff like that. Um, but those things like kind of cover all the bases for them on top of it. We do see that like obviously Disney had the exclusive deal with EA for like 10 years of Star Wars. Obviously, we know how that went, didn't go well. But recently, with the Star Wars Jedi games, and they just signed a 3-year deal, a 3-game deal for Marvel games. They're making the Iron Man and a Black Panther game for them, and there's a third one, but they haven't decided what it's going to be yet. So they already
Right.
have deals in place, and they've had deals with them for a long time. But it's like you spent billions of dollars on like these are things that you're kind of too big. Um, why invest billions, tens of billions of dollars more on this other thing? And it's like we've already seen where the gaming industry is going. Like it's still selling, it's still doing really well. This is like one of the best years ever for like money earned from gaming. But we've seen all these layoffs. We've seen all like the growth isn't what they thought it was going to be. So it's like why why invest now? I don't get it. I don't think it's going to happen. Um, but what about you, Gables?
The thing about this that doesn't make any sense to me is they're already getting diminishing returns upon a lot of their investments that Bob Iger did before he left to begin with.
Yeah,
And once he put Bob Chapek and stuff, and a lot of stuff started hitting the fans, on top of the fact that a lot of the quality in terms of what they were producing in movie things going sour, a lot of things going to the TV stuff with like Disney Plus going sour.
yeah,
But when it comes to the business sense, this doesn't make a lot of sense in order to go forth and acquire Electronic Arts, especially when you're already hemorrhaging money and stuff off the wazoo because of all of these other factors and choices you made for your theme parks, like increasing costs there and then
yeah,
increasing costs exponentially for your streaming service. It's not doing as well as you thought it would be doing by now.
yeah,
So when it comes to this, the only thing I could think of if they were trying to acquire Electronic Arts is if they sold off a couple different assets and stuff in order to try to get enough money to do so. And when I think about that, it's like I've seen like a bunch of different things online. Some rumors, some I've read a couple of things like maybe liquidating off Hulu to some like maybe I don't know, Comcast or some shit like that. It's like
I mean, Comcast is NBC, which is Peacock, and I think they don't even like they already have Peacock that's not doing well. So
Well, I understand that. I understand that. But the theoretical and stuff is they could potentially sell off a couple of different things of assets and stuff from either Hulu or Star Wars or whatever the fuck. But at the same point, it's like for the Disney company right now to go forth and invest instead of Electronic Arts and stuff. I mean, what it would happen is you're banking on the fact that Madden and at this point like FC football or something like
yeah,
that or
that's right. Yeah,
FIFA,
yeah,
this whole stuff will remain lucrative in terms of their microtransactions that are going to warrant you purchasing them for so many like this time like what like how many millions of dollars or something like that, maybe like close to about I want to say, let's see, trying to think of the exact amount that Disney would have to pay in order to acquire Electronic Arts. I
I,
kid you not, it's going to be cheaper than I think it's going to be with Microsoft just purchase Activision
yeah,
Blizzard.
yeah.
I think it's going to
Activision
be
was
like about a 40 or 50 billion. That's
yeah,
what I
it's
think.
still gonna be a fuck ton of money, but yeah,
Yes,
like
it is.
Activision was bigger because they had Call of Duty, and
Yes.
Blizzard and King also, which is prints money too, but yeah, like it's still gonna be a massive investment, and yeah, like FC Sports or what the fuck it's called now, and Madden, like they're selling their sales are better this year. They're making more money this year than in previous years. So like that doesn't show any signs of stopping. But it's like I don't like that you can't like I don't know like we thought EA is doing a better job at like they've really doubled down on single player games and not forcing in, not making everything games of service. Like they have that, but also they're working on other things too. Like also Apex Legends doing really well for them. It's not as big as it once was, but still a thing that's successful for them. But yeah, like they are one of the ones that like did a good job of like diversifying, like what else they did, not solely relying on
Right.
games as service. And like yeah, like I said, they started making Dead Space. They made the Star Wars Jedi games, and It Takes Two and shit like they're doing. I think they've done a really great job of like kind of they're slowly turning that image around. That they've had, they've the bad image they've had really since was it John Riccatello from the 2000s, the Godfather of the loot box, and they're slowly turning that around and like the studio that would or the publisher that would buy studios just to close them down in 5 years. So they're shedding that, which is I mean it's something that's good. It's like we're just trying to find positives and a bunch of negatives here, but
Right.
yeah, I don't foresee this happening.
I
Go ahead.
I don't see it
Yeah,
either. Honestly, I don't see Disney even remotely trying to acquire any type of video game developer or any type of like major publisher and stuff because they've been so active in terms of like just getting rid of like certain things from the inside in terms of
yeah,
like them themselves developing gaming content. But I could see like maybe like another company try to go forth and maybe acquire EA, maybe like a Sony. But at the same point, it's like we're in a situation here where it's like Disney cannot invest more billions of dollars
No.
already, than what it's already
Yeah,
done
they're trying to shed
because
money here, not
they need a
spend.
shed.
Yeah. Yeah, like ESPN is like, cable is slowly dying, but everything we're seeing like sports and everything like that costing way more money. So they're giving them
Yep,
way more money when they're making way less money, but because they need them to stay relevant. So like
absolutely.
how much is that even worth to sell off for? Like, yeah, like it still generates money for them, but it doesn't to the level it used to, and it's only going to get lower and lower. So it's like, how much value is that worth to people? Like someone else to buy it? Um, I mean, we did, and plus, like we've seen what Disney will do with like they had Disney Interactive that they just closed down, uh, like a decade ago, maybe a little bit more, a little bit longer ago.
Yep.
They like just got rid of Disney Infinity, like right before they were about to release a bunch more. Like they literally had warehouses full of like Disney Infinity toys that are about to ship, and they just canceled it out of the blue.
Hmm.
They bought Star Wars from Lucas, and they immediately closed down LucasArts. Um, so
Yep.
like I don't know if I want them dabbling in video games. The CEO that there now was the CEO that was there then. So I don't know if I want him, fucking with this stuff. And I mean, we have seen EA almost merge with Comcast last year or 2 years ago, and Andrew Wilson was gonna like run the company overall, and that fell through. So it's not crazy to think that EA might sell to somebody, but also after the Microsoft Activision, uh, everything took 22 months and all the FTC and CMA and all these things, like it's harder than like it's like if Disney tried to buy EA, I don't know. I honestly don't even know if they would make it through. Like and like I talk about, like yeah, it's exciting because Activision got bought by Microsoft because it gives us some hope that I'm like, well, it's not a slam dunk. It's like a bunch of great things that happen. They can Microsoft and Xbox can easily fuck up Activision, but
Yep.
like it gives you like, oh cool, like this thing that was like not looking great and the vibes were off at Activision, and it's like cool, Blizzard's fucked up, Call of Duty's like just shitting out games at this, like they're still super successful, but like they struggle to even put a game out this year. They don't have anything else on the horizon other than Call of Duty. It's like so it's like, oh, it's exciting from that prospect as a gamer of like, hey, things might get better because they weren't looking great before, but it's like I don't know. It's like how is this better for anybody other than a bunch of people are
Exactly.
gonna a bunch of uh, stockholders and board of directors are gonna get a fuck ton of money. So I don't know, but we will have to wait and see. I don't know if this consolidation thing is over. I sure hope it is, but we will have to wait and see. Gables. Speaking of ridiculous amount of money, Gables, Lego announced the Animal Crossing set. They a bunch of sets coming. We've already had like Donkey Kong and Mario in the last couple of years. Um,
Right.
and on par with Animal Crossing, you will have to take out a gigantic loan to buy some of these things because the Tom Nook set I think is like $75. There's they all range between like $15 and $75, and man, some of these sets are fucking a joke. I mean, I get it's like Lego can charge a fuck ton of money because people will buy like
Yeah.
every now and again I want to like buy like some like really cool shit from like Lego, and I look at the price and I'm like no, like Dom's car from like Fast and Furious is like $100, and I might like I have it saved in my Amazon account, like so I get alerts when it goes on sale. And when it goes on sale, it might go down to like $80. Like that's like there's
Oh.
the Horizon Lego that I want. It's like that's like $100. I think maybe it's like 90. I can't remember, but it's like that thing when it goes on sale. It's like Nintendo games, man. Those things like go down in price. That very rarely when they do, it's like $10. So, uh,
Mm.
if people out there like I think Bobby Kotick might be the only person now that can afford Legos at this point. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like they look kind of cool, but like man, some one of them was like $15 for like it's a dude in a boat. It's like what? I don't know. Gables, I don't know if you've seen some of the shit, but hey,
I haven't seen a lot of the different sets, Tyler, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that it costs that much. All the licensing fees and stuff like that Lego has to go forth and pay in order to try to acquire the sales of like these different types of sets and stuff. I mean, I've seen them at like Walmart and stuff like that, like the various like Lego sets. I mean, some of them can range anywhere between like maybe 20 something dollars to like over three
oh
hundred
yeah, yeah,
dollars.
like some of those things like cost well into the like you can buy a fucking PS5 in like three other games. Some of these, so
Yep.
yeah, that was kind of cool though. Like they're out, people that want to buy them, but my god. um, Next up here, like we talked a lot of shit about this game. This game's getting kind of dragged through the mud, so I want to give a little shout out here, like a little positive update on Redfall. They did do a massive update last week. It added 60 frames per second. Also, stealth kills are in there. They did fix the AI, so it's a lot better. And just made some more like a major patch came out, did a lot of updates to it to make it run better and get better. I don't think it's going to majorly change anything, but especially right now, like um, I don't even like if it came out in like a dead zone, I don't know how much it would have made a difference, but it's cool that like they're still doing it. They I don't imagine it's gonna like make it have a major turnaround like a No Man's Sky or anything like that. But I don't know. I just like I said, that game has been dragged through the mud quite a bit, and I just want to
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to them for improving the game a little bit at least.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I mean, granted, it's nice that they went through and updated the game with some of the issues in regards to what was plaguing it to begin with.
Yeah,
From what I've heard of, also from what I've seen, it's like at least it makes sure that the game is like at least okay
yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of like try to go through and play through.
It,
But yeah,
yeah, this might like I think it's like a 57 on OpenCritic. Maybe now it's like it'd be like a 65. So it's still not like it goes from like a pretty bad game to it's a game you can play that you can easily sink your hours in. Obviously, a lot of these issues are like don't fix the core issues of this game. I don't think you can, but I
yeah.
don't know. Just want to stick. It's just, it's so easy to be negative out there. And it's just it's want to throw a positive out there. Going back to negatives though, Gables, Best Buy did
Huh.
announce that in 2024 they are getting rid of physical sales of all their movies, Blu-rays, TV series, stuff like that. So those will be going away early next year. So I mean, we're seeing this now. Like, it sucks. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. Video game sales are slowly
And
becoming.
it hurts consumers
Yep.
in the long run too.
Yeah, but I mean, this is all about like I said about business. Like they're now they get 100% of the money. When you buy a game on your Switch or PS5 or Xbox, instead of like Walmart getting 30% of that cut, now scared the shit out of me. A fucking dog like hacked. Jesus Christ. Wow. That really hurt my neck too when I jumped. But anyways, yeah, like instead of like, Walmart getting 30% of the cut or whatever, like now it's like, PlayStation gets a bigger cut. If it's an EA game, EA gets a bigger cut. So I get it. And plus you can't resell it. So and they charge the same price. So it's a win for them, but I'm kind of the in between gamer where I like the games I know I'm going to play multiple times, or like a Madden or God of War or I don't know, fucking like Super Mario Wonder or Tears of the Kingdom. Like I buy those digitally, but like Mortal Kombat 1 or Forspoken or stuff like that. Like games I'm gonna like only play like maybe once if I like or not even finish at all. And like I'm never gonna after I beat the story I'm done with this thing. Like I buy those and I trade them in. Like trade-ins is how I buy a lot of the games that I get. So um,
Right.
it does suck. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, but this is the future. We've already seen it. We saw it 20 years ago with iTunes, um, and Spotify now, and YouTube Music, and all that. We've been seeing it with the streaming services, and now like Amazon and Prime Video, we can just buy movies on there and stuff like that. So, and also it's like I don't have the space to have a bunch of video game cases and stuff like that. So it's like it's easy for me to like only buy the ones I really want, or buy the ones I'm going to trade in, or maybe I'll buy like a limited run game of a game I really like. So I don't know, Gables. What about you? I know you're obviously the big physical gamer guy. Like you buy your games physically. Um, how you feel about this one, buddy?
I absolutely hate it. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
In regards to any type of brick and mortar retail and stuff phasing out a lot of the physical media stuff, I mean, it doesn't surprise me with Best Buy because Best Buy really hasn't been doing all that great in terms of their financial stuff over the past few years. It's actually been trending downwards with a lot of their different things. So I know from pretty much like going through a couple different like type of videos on YouTube and like going through different types of things like I actually happened upon like one of the videos, like I think it was like on Thursday night or something like that. I was watching a video by Gaming Off the Grid and stuff. These two guys are going
I've
through
seen them.
like talking about yeah, going through like the different article and stuff like that in terms of the whole what Best Buy announced in terms of their physical media stuff. By I think it was trying to eliminate that before like at least during the whole first quarter of
Yeah, it's gonna
2024.
happen somewhere in there. So
Yeah, but
video games will still be a part of it. But they just announced movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So,
well,
but
yes,
okay,
I
sorry.
understand that. But in terms of like say in terms of like say like selection when you go into a store or something and like there's any like physical movies or physical games or something of that sort, I mean, I was watching them like one of the guys go through his store and stuff. It's sort of like it's just a shelf.
Mm.
It's just a rack of like just here's a line of like movies, then like another rack. Okay, here's a line of like some of the games or something like that. That's it. That's like a whole bunch of the digital. That's a whole bunch of the physical sort of like stuff going to present and stuff like that. But that aside, I definitely don't like this because of what things you've already touched on before, where it's like it's less power to the consumer, less control for like the consumer and stuff, and more of a sacrificing like control for convenience for a lot of different
Mm.
things. But when it comes to specific gamers in general, it's like there's a reason why gamers go through and try to get like the physical form stuff, and it's a choice that like gamers like myself make is because we want to be able to do what we want to do with different games, whether or not is to buy it, to resell it, to like say replay it like a couple of years down the line because we happen to go forth without having to fear about going onto a online service or something like that, and all of a sudden like overnight like the licensing or guess something gets pulled and stuff
Mm.
like it has for the past couple of years, with Konami with their Metal Gear Solid games digitally on
But
services.
yeah,
And
at least those you can still download them if you own them. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like you can't buy them anymore. But it's like,
right,
fuck,
right.
we've seen that with like like GameStop years ago. Like would stop couldn't sell Destiny to GameStop anymore. 'Cause it's like, or they give like
Exactly.
they wouldn't even take them for a penny. Like they wouldn't give you a penny for them. It's like we just have so many. It's like no one like,
Well,
or
exactly the
like
point. That's just
Battleborn. Like you can't even play that game online. That was like one of the first big ones I remember, that like online only game that like closed down last generation. Or like Overwatch now is like, even if you have the disc, it's just Overwatch 2 now. So um, it's a losing
well,
battle
yes,
on all regards.
absolutely.
Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 literally is like an 80 megabyte download on the disc, and then it just kind of like takes you to the store, and then you download the game from there.
Yeah, I know, right? It absolutely sucks when it comes to stuff like that because that's not even really considered to be like a physical sort of like disc in and of itself because the vast majority of stuff you're downloading is on a server anyway.
Mm.
But in terms of that, it's like it just kind of more or less accelerates the thoughts of okay, well, Best Buy is doing this now. What's stopping, say, retailers now, like say like Walmart
Yeah.
or some from doing the same thing on their storefronts? Because I've been through multiple different Walmarts and stuff. Their gaming sections are getting freaking bare
Yeah.
in regards to what they have inside the main stores and stuff. There have been rumblings from what I understand, like from online stuff, and then phasing out the physical Xbox games, which I can understand
Yeah, I
that.
heard that too. Yeah, which Game Pass
I
kind of kills that.
I can understand
Yeah.
that. The Game Pass stuff quintessentially killed off a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff,
Well, I
but
would, the only pushback I have for like Walmart and like Target stuff like that is like those are like, for a lot of them are grocery stores, and they sell a lot of items. People go there for several different things, so it's just like a, you walk by the electronics section, so they have those. Best Buy is very, it's kind of going the way of like a Radio Shack or like a Circuit City, stuff like that, where
well,
it's like
yes.
you go there to like you like now it's like you can go to Costco or Walmart, anywhere you can get a pretty nice TV there. Like this, like Best Buy is now for like tech junkies, and if you want to buy like a washer and dryer and stereo equipment. So it's a
Well,
very
yeah.
niche. It's turning into a very niche audience of like what they have there. Um, so it's like I get like why it's okay. We can focus more on these other things. It's like we've seen like GameStop now they push more like push a lot of Funko Pops, and they push like T-shirts and stuff too on top of their other stuff, because like it's not just selling new and used games um, isn't enough anymore. So yeah, like
Well, that's the
it's
thing, man.
eventually going to slow down. I agree, but I think those have a way to go. And I keep hear everybody saying like, oh, I think next generation, like it's just gonna be pure digital. You can't even buy them in the store. I still push back on that. Obviously, we still have probably another 4 or 5 years ago in this generation, so I can easily be wrong. I just think that the next consoles will be like what I think the PS5 Pro will be, where it's gonna come out. It's gonna be discless, no disk drive, and you have to buy a disk drive separately if you want one.
It would be incredible. It would be incredibly stupid if they just go incredibly just digital only for every single thing without the added use of like having some sort of physical component to it. You need to have choice of like both sort of aspects and stuff to really have like the consumer to really give or take like what they want to go forth and do with their money in some of this aspect. But when I thought Well, one other thing I really thought though, in terms of this announcement though, was like say a lot of the future elements in terms of like certain forms of physical media, because well, Walmart, from what I understand, like in terms of their movies and like music stuff like that, they have like 45% of the market in that regards of like the physical
Hmm.
presence and stuff. This is not accounting to say like what Amazon goes through and sells with their stuff, but when it comes to a lot of the physical product, I can really see like sooner rather than later, a lot of those things if you're not able to get them like inside of like a main retailer stuff like a Walmart or a Target or something like that. I could just really see physical media stuff just like kind of going up and up in price because if there's no new content that's being put out like a physical form because they choose to go the whole digital route in terms of the media, like for movies or TV shows or something like that, I probably am sort of like maybe I'm going to be unfounded with saying this though, but it's like I can really see it to where a lot of the secondhand, a lot of the different types of things are going to go up in nature to try to get the things that are already established in the market.
Yeah.
It's like it's already starting to happen somewhat with certain gaming stuff because here you have a lot of the gamers that have been around for a long time, like some that predate us, obviously, Tyler, but yet some people like around our age and stuff like that are kind of sort of thinking the same thing where it's like, okay, most of the stuff is not even being like physical in the traditional form of physical. Like it's maybe halfway, you got to download a lot of your content or halfway or something, or just go completely digital or something like that with initial game, right? So it's like when it comes to those when it comes to that scenario, it just feels like it just really feels like more gamers rather than like sooner rather than later or some are just gonna go and just kind of look up and stuff like is it really worth just like having like some of these stuff like in physical form and if not go backwards
Mm.
in terms of like try to find what your different games and stuff that are great and stuff like that that may become even more scarce because of the fact that hey, now that we don't have new product that's going to be coming through in physical forms in certain like retail stores and stuff, what's going to stop what exactly are we supposed to do to try to get like stuff that we do own in that regards? But then again, I'm thinking more of like say 5 or 10 years down the line than the initial reaction to what this news is
Yeah.
because all we know right now is like this is what Best Buy is doing. We don't know what Walmart's going to be doing. We don't know what Amazon's going to be doing. But I will say, just a off the cuff statement is like it'd be incredibly stupid just to do away with this the physical media stuff all at once for all the different
No.
retailers
No. I think it's
because it
gonna
would
come.
piss off
It's gonna
everybody.
come in waves. It'll slowly happen, then
Yeah.
it'll just become the norm. So, um, yeah, we'll have to wait and see though. That's like I said, it's a ways away. Gables, let's get into what we've been playing. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first, buddy?
You know what, Tyler? I want you to go first.
All right. So
Those birds are really
yeah,
going
what
at
the
it.
fuck's going on there? They should be sleeping. Um, sorry about that, people. What the fuck are they doing? Anyways, I've been playing. I've been playing a couple games this week. I I played. Sorry about that. What the fuck? Uh, what is happening in there? I'm not. You know what?
What?
I have no idea what's happening in there. Fuck it. We're gonna move on. Sorry for people if you can hear in the background. Um. Anyways. So Liza, I'm playing more Liza P. Um. Wait, what are you doing? My dog just threw up. Gables, I'm gonna have you.
Oh,
There's a mess going on over here. I'm
you
gonna have
you
you go
got yourself an
first, buddy.
emergency here.
All right, I'll be right back. God damn it.
All right, well, you go ahead and tame the zoo. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about what I've been playing here. So, I'm sorry, man. It's like I'm just seeing all this action just happen right in front of me. It's just really hilarious. But what I have been playing, I've been playing a little bit more of Crazy Taxi on Dreamcast. Old games are old, but at the same time, I've been learning a couple different tricks in regards to Crazy Taxi in and of itself. So, for example, when you go through and you start like when you go through and start playing the game, the initial thing started learning about is like this instant boost thing to where you shift like the drive and the reverse and stuff like that. Like at this, not at the same time though, but like you shift the drive and like the reverse and stuff like that, or to do like little bit of like boosts and stuff while you're trying to drive around, like escorting different people to the different like spots and stuff. that's one of them. I've been learning. I've been getting better in terms of like drifting and also in terms of like doing like miniature boosts and stuff. And quite honestly, my goal with this game is to try to get like the crazy license to it, which I have been super close. I mean, I have been relatively close. I've gotten as high as S tier for one of one of like the escort stuff. I basically set the game on for like the original mode, like arcade stuff, for like about 10 minutes. I've done like 10 minutes where I've actually helped about 17 people get to their destinations and stuff and like this and that. But I've only been playing with like with the one driver, the original, like the first driver you get to select your axle. Really like I really like the music. Obviously the music like by the Offspring and stuff like that. That's really nostalgic. That's something I really like. Very memorable. I really love the arcade racing sort of feel with Crazy Taxi and all this other stuff. Obviously, I'm going to be playing a little bit more of that to see if I can fill up the crazy box stuff and eventually get that the crazy license sort of stuff out of the way. I did play a little bit of F-Zero 99, stuff like that. Just a couple different races, nothing really like substantial or anything of that sort. But when it comes to any other types of gaming stuff, I have downloaded Liza P. I do have obviously Starfield on my system and this and that and stuff. But my gameplay has been sort of kind of like on the wayside a little bit because I've been playing a little bit of like retro games here and there plus F-Zero 99, but I've also done like a hell of a lot of research in terms of trying to play certain Dreamcast games I wanted to go through and do, going through like deep videos in terms of the comparisons between ports of like Sonic Adventure being one of them. Oh, the differences between the original Dreamcast port and then the GameCube port, all the glitches and shit and stuff. But what I didn't realize is that GameCube port was ported to PC, which then was that PC port. Let's see, that port from PC was ported to for the Xbox 360, and then that 360 version ported onto Steam and stuff, meaning it's a port of a port of a port of a port. Meaning there are a bunch of shit inside of these versions and stuff that are kind of wacky, sort of like a lot of hitches and stuff. But the end result is, yeah, some of the game stuff is pretty interesting, but at the same point, it's not. There's some aspects that are not as good as like the original version of it, but yeah, that's just an example of stuff that I had been going through and researching, plus discovering very quickly, hey, I'm pretty much being outpriced in terms of some of these games I can go for the acquire. Like, for example, Cannon Spike, the game that's like literally over two to close to almost $300 complete in box. Which, you know what? For a game that only lasts for like about God, like not even like an hour or something like that, or at most for like a playthrough for that stuff, probably better off like going through other methods potentially. Or if ever one just happens to drop into my lap or something by God's green earth or something like that, maybe I'll try it out. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing for like gaming this week, Tyler. Nothing really eventful, but at the same time, it's going to be picking up rather quick.
Yeah, yeah. Just kind of, I'm in the same boat where I'm just kind of like playing stuff to kind of get through. Really next Friday. So, I play a little bit of
Yes.
Forza. I played like an hour of it. I talk about like I was kind of excited to just play a racing game where like I'm not in an open world setting. Um,
Hmm.
what is your problem, Lou? Jesus Christ. My God, he's having. I have to let him out here soon. Um, but yeah, I played a little bit of Forza, and I was thought, like I said, I was like, kind of excited for like, oh yeah, playing a racing game that's just a racing game. And I played like an hour of it. I played like 4 or 5 races. And I'm like, I just
Yeah.
don't like Forza that much, motorsports that much. It's just, I don't think it's a bad game. It's gorgeous. It plays really well. They all do. They have a ton of like, if you like, you're a car guy, like they have that for you. I'm none of those things. I like a good fun racing game, but it's like, I just don't like it's the simulation side of things where it's like I like Horizon more because of the arcadiness of it, but it's just like I like a little more arcadey version, but like a non-open world. Like they made like a smaller Horizon game that'd be fucking awesome. But yeah, just Forza Motorsport, not for me. Another game, not for me. Liza P. It's about last week. It's funny. I've done this 2 years in a row now. Where fucking I play or 2 games in a row now with Wolong and now this where like I talk about like I played the Wolong demo and I kept trying to beat that first boss and I couldn't beat him. Um, and then the very next day on my first attempt I beat him. So I did that on Sunday morning. I beat him finally. I got to I beat the chapter 1 and 2. I'm on chapter 3. I put like my game timer says like 6 hours. Sounds about right. I talked about like kind of like I got like really good at Wolong and stuff. Was like I just kind of over leveled and I went in like and like 'cause I'm just not very good at these type of games, but I just went over leveled and like kind of just outlasted the bosses and stuff. I got decent at pairing, not great, but anyways, um, I'm on level 45, just finishing chapter 2 and a little bit of starting a little bit of 3,
Mm.
and it's not for me. I part of the I think I like Wolong more because it's a lot faster, and also like they're like areas instead of like an open area, like a whole open map. Like you're
Yeah.
unlocking sections as you go. Um, I think I like that one more just because it's like the areas are smaller and I don't know. I think I just like that more, and like the fat like it's Wolong is just much more fast paced. Uh, uh, Liza P is a lot more. It's a lot slower. Like you like really have to focus on the stamina bar more than like Wolong and stuff. Like you have to focus on it, but like you can do a lot more attacks and like I said, it's a lot more fast paced. And Liza P just I don't think it's bad. I totally get why people like it a lot, and like I enjoy it. Like I definitely was like getting stuck in that loop of going around and like just going around a loop and killing a bunch of guys and racking up souls and stuff like that. But yeah, just not for me. I just wish a little faster. I'd be really into it, but like I said, I think it's definitely see why people love it and saying it's like if this was a FromSoft game, this would be a game of the year contender. As a lot of people are saying. So that's obviously the highest regard from FromSoft fans. So yeah, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt on that. And then next up here, Gables, I finished TellTale's The Expanse.
Okay.
I played the first 2 episodes. Like they're coming out every other week, starting in I believe at the end of July. I played the first 2 episodes because they're like I said every other week, and then like episode 3 came out like right I think like the same weekend or like really close to Starfield. So obviously Starfield took up a lot of time, and then it was Cocoon and a couple other games on top of that too I was playing. So all the episodes are out now. I think they all came out like a week or two ago, and
Mm.
finished that today. Did episodes 3, 4, and 5. Come away really liking it. I've talked about
Mm-hmm.
if maybe if you didn't see from what was that last month, 2 months ago when I played the first 2 episodes. Like I talked about, like I went in with like no, like I only ever watched the first season of The Expanse and kind of fell off, and this actually made me go back and start watching the show. And
Oh.
I'm almost done with season 4. I kind of same thing was like with the game with the Expanse game. Once Starfield came out, like I really hit a wall. Like I watched like the first like 4 seasons basically, and like I started from season 2, and then because I already watched season 1 like a year or two ago, and I went through like those first like 3 seasons in like probably like 3 weeks, a month or so, which is pretty fast for me. Um, but yeah, I kind of hit a wall because of plus football and shit too, taking up a lot of
Mm.
my non gaming time as well. So I'm definitely trying to go back to that here soon. Maybe like I'll jump into the Expanse here as we have a few days between some major games coming out.
Oh
But
yeah.
anyways, um, really came away happy with it. Liked it a lot. It's a little weird because it's like you play as drummer, who is one of the main like one of the characters in the TV show, but it's a prequel of the TV show. So in the books as well, it's actually based off a book originally, a book series originally. Um, and it like it kind of has some issues where like they kind of tease like her dying and stuff like that, and it's like, well, I know she's not going to die because she's obviously very important to the story of what's going to happen in the TV show in the books. So it's like it has some issues with that where they kind of tease some elements of that. But they have like your crew with you that kind of a really cool thing. Something I don't like. Telltale usually like I really like their storytelling. I like their games a lot. Like I'm admitted over and over again, I'm a Telltale fanboy. So obviously take what I'm saying with a grain of salt because I'm going to be overly optimistic and overly positive even more than others. But kind of like the main gripe against him is like when you play the game and do like the opposite choices, they don't end up being as drastic as you think they would be. In some cases, or it's like like you end up kind of going down the same path, you just kind of get there a different way, or you end in
Yeah.
the same place but you get there a different way. And this one actually um, is drastically different. It's more like a supermassive games like the Quarry or what's their other big game that was the PlayStation 4 game? Supermassive. It's on tip of my tongue. Tip of the tongue. They make the dark picture anthology games. Anyways,
Until
Until Dawn.
Dawn.
Yes, thank you. They it's kind of more like that in the sense of like like anybody can die, except for like drummer, obviously. Spoilers for that one, I guess. But if yeah, like anybody in your crew, like you have a crew of people, any of them can die, and it's like in some
Hmm.
ways, like you don't even know how, like it's things that decisions you made 2 episodes ago that can lead to that or stuff like that. So it's really cool and like adds a lot more to it, where like it really feels like it matters what you're saying and doing, and it adds a lot of replay value to like as well, because it's like, I lost this character in, like, let's say episode 3. It's like, fuck, what happens with this character if they survived, or if they made it a couple more episodes or whatever. So yeah, I ended up coming away very positive with it. I'm happy with it. I don't love the graphical style though. Like I think they used to use the Unity engine. I just
Right.
think the faces are really weird looking, and the mouths are like really big and distracting when they talk. So actually, very much like the Supermassive games. Sometimes like their mouths like are very weird and move awkwardly. So kind of have that same issue, I guess. Different art design, but similar issues. But yeah, I came away really happy with it. And I recommend checking it out. I think it's like $40, but I've been seeing it going on sale for like 20 and stuff like that recently. And sadly, a bunch of the TellTale employees were laid off a few weeks ago. So heart goes out to them. It sucks. Hopefully, they said they're still working on like Wolf Among Us 2 and stuff. So hopefully, that happens, and hopefully all the people that lost jobs, find a home, or at least got a decent salary on the way out the door. But yeah, I don't know. I know also Deck Nine helped co-publish this one, which I love. Deck Nine. They make like they made Life is Strange True Colors, which is my favorite game from 2021. They also made like Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is my second favorite Life is Strange game. So they make those really great games as well on top of it. So really two really good teams colliding together, and I hope they're able to do it again sometime, because I like where they're going. Just man, fix those mouse. It's very weird. It's very awkward. Very very off-putting. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, Gables. So yeah, think that might do it for us this week, guys. If you guys are liking this, enjoying the show, please like, follow, subscribe. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. We stream the show on Twitch every Saturday night, but then the podcast will go up in the morning, Sunday mornings. It'll be wherever podcasts are served. We're on there. So just search for us, Drunk Nerds. You'll find us. Give us a review, 5 stars, comments, stuff like that. Share, tell your friends. Really really appreciate it. And people out there, like, I've been posting a lot of shorts on our YouTube channel every day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're getting a lot of views on those, like a ton of views, like multiple thousands of views every day on those things. Fucking subscribe, people. Give a thumbs up. It's very frustrating when you see like a video that's got like 2.6 thousand views. It's like, oh fuck yeah, and then you look, it's like 17 likes. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Maybe I'm like overly just like giving on the thumbs up to like people. When I see videos I like, and just give them a thumbs up. It helps them out. Come on, people, do the same thing. And if I really like them, I'll subscribe. So do that, because we're trying to get to now that YouTube changed the rules. You have to have like 500 subs to start actually generating some money. So it'd be great if you help us get there. We're like 130. We've been stuck at like that number um, for quite a while now, for like a few weeks now. So it'd be nice if some people out there throw us some likes, throw some subscribes, and leave a comment and shares, and tell your friends and all that stuff. But whatever you like, you watch us, like us, whatever. Really appreciate it. Like, there's a description down below. There's links to everything. So Extra Life is down there as well. I'll link down to that. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds
Hey,
podcast.
Gibbles.
Yeah,
Be sweet.
be sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.